What's up everyone, welcome back to another video with the Millennial Finance. I just made a personal finance mistake that is probably one of the biggest ones we can make out there. I bought a car. Cha-ching! So a few weeks back, I actually finally got delivery of the first ever car that I've bought in my life, and it wasn't just any car, it was a Lamborghini. I mean Proton X50. Of course, we, especially Malaysians, need cars to bring us around, but general advice is why don't you just get a car that can bring you from point A to B. All cars are the same after all, right? They all bring us to a destination that we want to go. Maybe some cars are different, some cars are a bit safer, and those are the only things that we should really be looking out for if we want to buy the best value for our money vehicle. I've got to admit though, I didn't buy this car for its safety or for its value. I bought it because it looks good and I've been waiting for it for nearly a year already since they pre-announced their launch. So why is it common financial advice not to spend so much money on a car? Many people look at Warren Buffett driving his old beat up car, and many financial gurus in the US say that you should buy second-hand cars because you can get it very cheap. So technically, cars are an asset because we own it, but the problem with it is it's not an income generating asset, or it's not a productive asset. Unlike buying a house or stocks or even putting it into fixed deposits, we can generate returns with the money that we're using, and it'll probably be at a higher value in a later date. However, with a car, you can almost be certain that the value will depreciate over the years instead of appreciate, unless you have one of those collector models, which I assume most of us don't. I guess in a way, it does help me generate income because it does bring me to work, but then again, any car can do that. I didn't really need a Proton X50. So the main point people say that you shouldn't buy cars and spend so much money on it is because the value depreciates very quickly, and many cars even lose up to 30% in value in their first year alone. I did some small research though, and the Proton X70 actually held its value pretty well, even though it's a few years old secondhand in the market. So I hope my car that I just bought will do the same as well. This isn't to justify my decision though. I am very clear that this is a liability and I have to pay it off. It's a loan that I took. And of course, the more expensive the car that you take, the more that you have to pay every single month to service this loan. So before I say why I bought a relatively more expensive car, I gotta explain why did I have to buy a car in the first place. So this was definitely a necessity. My sister just started work and she needed a car to go to work. And since I've been working for around 3 years now where she's just starting, I thought that it'd be the responsible thing to do to pass on the car that my mom bought for us to her, and then I'll buy a new car. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to take public transport to work. I really wish that Malaysia had a better public transport system, but because I work in Shah Alam, the train stations and everything, it was a bit too far for me and it took too much time for me to travel every single day. And of course, cars cost money, but we also need to remember that our time is also valuable and we should assign a value to it. So why did I buy a relatively more expensive car knowing that it's bad for my personal finances? There's no other way for me to say this other than I really wanted this car. I'm no Andre Jake selling his car, living life without one, being a minimalist, and walking or taking public transport everywhere he wants to go. The truth is, during lockdowns, I was extremely fortunate in that I not only maintained my job, I actually got 2 promotions in the last 2 years. So this helped a bit on my income. On the cost side, because I didn't have to actually go to office, I saved a lot of money on petrol, on toll and maintenance. And of course, because of lockdowns all over the world, I didn't spend on a lot of things I usually spend on, like going out for dinner or going on holidays. So most of this money that I actually managed to save up, I did invest in the stock market. In fact, over the last 1 year, I have probably 6-7 times how much money I actually put into the stock market, and on that front I was doing pretty well. However, I did feel that I wanted to buy something or splurge a bit on myself after 1 whole year being stuck at home. So I realized that I did have enough money and I knew I needed to buy a car. So I slightly tweaked away from looking at a Myvi to a Proton X50 after it was announced. For sure, the difference in money that I would spend getting a Proton X50 over a Myvi would be significant and would definitely delay the amount of money that I would get for my retirement, and when I will achieve financial independence. But financial independence is our end goal. Right now, we're all on this journey to reach there as fast as we possibly can. My personal beliefs are though that even though we of course want to maximize how much we have for retirement and reach financial independence as fast as we possibly can, we should not miss out on this journey, because most of the times, this journey itself is the most rewarding part. Imagine us walking down the path towards our destination. I always think that even though, yes, we want to sprint there, we want to run there, we should always never forget to stop and smell the roses. As Miley Cyrus famously once said, it's the climb. For this reason as well, I don't really like the concept of lean fire. I do believe that we will miss out too much in life by employing this kind of approach. Of course, I have nothing against those people who want to do it. Everyone is different and everyone lives their lives differently, which is why personal finance is so personal. There does seem to be a thinking where there's only two extremes. There's only the type of person who spends all of his money, goes into debt, and is reckless, and the other guy who saves every single cent he has and invests it in the stock market and retires at 30 years old. The truth of the matter is, most of us will probably be sitting somewhere in the middle, and hopefully we're leaning towards more to the side of saving and investing. By buying this car, I'm maintaining all my monthly investments, and I'm still keeping my ASB financing, and I'm keeping my monthly deposits into both StashAway and my broker account. So I'm not foregoing any recurring investments that I currently have in place, but instead, I'll look to cut costs in other areas of my life that I don't think bring me as much joy, or maybe I'll also look at increasing my income. We can't save every single cent that we make in our lives just to retire as fast as we can, because if we do that, I really think we'll all be miserable people. So now that I've said all of this, let's get to a bit more of the fun part, which is the process of buying my car. This is the first car I've ever bought in my life, so maybe me sharing this can help many of you who will probably be in the same situation as well. So I booked this car in September of 2020. The waiting period was extremely long. Everyone had to wait for over 6 months to actually get this car. Maybe this was a clever marketing campaign which made me feel that I wanted it even more. Anyway, I paid a 500 ringgit booking fee. This was going to be offset later on when the car came. So I prepared a 15% down payment for this car, and because I had to wait so long for it, in December, I decided to put this money to work, and I actually put half into StashAway Simple and half into Versa. I guess this is one of the use cases that we can actually use apps like this when we have a large amount of money waiting, not knowing when I need to use it, but knowing that it's in the near future. Because I put it there instead of just leaving it in my bank account, I split out my money so that I know that this money I am going to spend in the near future. And second of all, of course, I made a bit of extra money. It's not much, but I'll save that for another video. So in terms of my loan, my sales agent actually helped me apply loans from multiple banks, and I ended up taking the one from Public Bank. The rates that I got were good because we're currently in a low interest rate environment, which again, governments all over the world are employing to help spur the economy. As we can see, Bank Negara Malaysia has been slashing our OPR last year and is now at a very, very low point. I would say that if you're looking to buy a car, this would probably be one of the best times because the interest rates are so low. Also, it helped that I had a good credit score. I had my ASB financing, I had credit cards ever since I started working. So my credit score was good, which helped the bank in the process of both approving my loan and giving me a good rate. This is why, again, we always tell all of our followers at the Millennial Finance to always use credit, but of course, make sure you pay it off so that you can start building your credit score right as you start working. So buying a car was also a bit more expensive than I thought it would be. There are certain costs for us to consider, like insurance and road tax. That cost me over 2,000 ringgit because this was my first car. I didn't have any no claim bonuses. I had to do tinting, of course. A good one cost over 1,000 ringgit, and I did coating for my paint as well so that the paint could, be new. I could protect it, and that cost me another 1,000 ringgit as well. Finally, there's of course the very important part of maintenance down the road. Even though we don't pay this now, we need to at least plan for it in the future so that we know how much money we really need to own this car. So a good thing about Proton is they have all of this info on their website. I scrolled through all of it and I knew at every interval how much I needed to pay. So the reason that I made this video was that I just wanted to be honest and just show all of you guys that even we aren't super rational with money. Honestly, I thought about it many times about whether we wanted to film this video, whether it's sending the wrong message to you guys, but I just really wanted you guys to know that it's okay to spend money sometimes. Of course, it's kind of stupid though. I could have just bought an iPhone, but I decided to buy a car. All we have to do is just make sure that we budget properly and save up enough and know the entire cost of ownership before committing to something, especially when it's big like a car. Saving and investing is important. It helps us reach our end goal, which is early retirement and financial independence, but don't forget to stop and smell the roses along the way. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.